had an opportunity to see the tragedy of Macbeth, starring the great Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand at the SAG-AFTRA private film screening in Tribeca. Denzel, he has such a he has such an engaging presence on screen. I'm just like, I mean, yes, he's fine. Let's be 100. He's very sexy and handsome, and he's just intense, beautiful eyes, sexy eyes. But outside of that, like he just there's an inner power that he possessed for me that's so captivating, right? I just loved. I was very moved by his performance, and I'm honestly I'm always moved by his performance. He just always does it for me. I'm always transfixed by him. Like I don't want to move. I want to take in every word he's saying. And like for Denzel Washington and any actor, but for Denzel Washington to make Shakespeare's fucking metaphors and similes and abstract language and poetic language sound conversational is a feat, right? It's an accomplishment. And to still move me, though sometimes I'm like, what is he talking about right now? I don't know what he's talking about. But I do, but he did it in such a way that was just so natural, you know. But he brought such emotional vulnerability and power and inner turmoil as a character, you know. He played King Macbeth, and you know, Frances McDormand played his wife. She's all in his fucking ear, egging him on, saying what a man is supposed to do. He's a man. He knows what a man's supposed to do. And it was interesting just to see him wrestling, having on internal wrestling he was having. You know, I like how it was an illustration of how blind ambition can really be can result in your own demise, your psychological demise, which is what to me what happened with King Macbeth. To see him so steady and stable at the top of the story, and then as the story unfolds, become psychologically unstable and literally become the Walking Dead. Really, it was something to see. Frances killed it. She came on the screen and she was fire. She really had a grasp of the language and really understood what the character was talking about, and was brought all the emotionality. Both her and Denzel brought such authentic, as they always do, authentic emotionality of the character. The many emotional colors was very evident. That production, y'all. Directed and produced by Joe Cohen, Frances McDormand husband. That production design was incredible, and the sound quality was outstanding. The shapes of the interior and the exterior was just, it was so eye-catching, you know. And the gentleman who played Denzel's right-hand man at the top of the film, he was very good, very strong actor. Very solid in his characterization. And there was an actress who portrayed like the witch. She was fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal, y'all. Denzel, because they had a brief Q&A after the screening, and we didn't get a chance to ask any questions. It was just like a moderator there asking all the questions. And there were like 5 other castmates along with Denzel. So Denzel and then other castmates. Some of the castmates, Frances McDormand and her husband, were not there, but at the Roxy Cinema in Tribeca, which I love Tribeca, such a beautiful area, so artsy. But they really handle the storytelling well for me. I usually look at sets and all that, but this kind of set was so interesting and dynamic. The shapes and the angles that how he chose to capture them in the framing. And when we first encountered the witch, her head was in the sand, and the way in which the cinematographer captured her, it was so unorthodox for me. And it just held me. It held me. The acting held me. The cinematography, the sound quality was superb. I said that already. Sorry, but I was so impressed with the design of the locations, their homes. It was so spacious, and just to see Denzel's character be experiencing this inner turmoil and this conflict, um, just unravel was really, really interesting to see. Um, I'm so happy that I got a chance to experience and to see Denzel Washington in person. He was so charming and funny and pleasant and very, wanted the other castmates. He didn't want to. It felt like he was wanted to share the stage equally so they can speak about their experience filming it and their characterizations and things like that. And I thought that was really gracious of him. Um, yeah, shout out to Shakespeare, because it seems like there's a through line that I've noticed in Shakespeare's characters of the stories I've seen. He really illustrate how you can become psychologically unraveled if you allow ambition, blind ambition, and jealousy and envy and to overtake you. I feel like that's just like all his characters become psychologically like damaged, and they kind of lose a handle on being stable emotionally as his stories unfold, which is a fun ride to experience as a viewer. Yeah, I don't remember the sound score so much. I guess it was so subtle that it wasn't. It didn't stand out in that way. But maybe wasn't supposed to. And I like that it was shot in black and white, so we could just, not be distracted by beautiful, vibrant colors. The costumes had an architectural type of structure to them, which made it very interesting. I was like, Frances McDormand, girl, give me those dresses. Because they still showcase the woman's curvaceous figure, our curves as women, but they were like A-lined. So I dug it. Like, I'm like, I want to be up in that environment. It was nice to see acting at that level, like to see actors on such a high. I mean, he's the apex of the acting profession, right? I mean, he and a few others, because we know they say only 2% of SAG-AFTRA actors are actually working consistently. Denzel's one of those people. But I remember Denzel in an interview saying that sometimes it's hard being it's lonely at the top. Like Denzel Washington said that. Okay, that's why it's important to have true friends and family members who really do care about your well-being and just love you for you, regardless of what you accomplish or haven't. They just love you for you. So yeah, it was just. I'm just such a. I'm always so moved in my soul by Denzel Washington's interpretations of characters. And he came on the screen, I was like, I just was so engrossed by how he embodies the characters. Okay, enough gushing over Denzel Washington, but and this is about his characterization, his craft. This is not about me just saying he's fine. He is fine, but I don't want to subtract from the effort he puts into his characterizations. It was very touching for me. The whole cast was fire for me. 99% of them were fire. Yeah, so if you get a chance, check out The Tragedy of Macbeth, starring the great Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand, and the rest of the cast. I don't really care for, I don't like roller coasters, y'all, but I realize that films are my roller coaster. Look, I like experiencing the emotional, psychological ups and downs of the character experience. So that's my roller coaster. But you can have the real ones. That's for the birds, not for me. All right, peace, y'all. Have a good Sunday, Chinese.